salam shalom. Peace, 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 salam shalom.
We believe in
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 Peace, salam shalom.
In Ramallah.
Peace, salam shalom.
In Jerusalem.
Peace, salam shalom.
In Lebanon.
Peace, salam shalom.
We believe in
Peace, salam shalom.
In Chicago.
Peace, salam shalom.
In Minnesota.
Peace, salam shalom.
In New Orleans.
Peace, salam shalom.
At Otay Mesa.
Peace, salam shalom.
We believe in
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 Peace, salam shalom. Peace, salam shalom. Peace, salam shalom. Peace, salam shalom. Peace, salam shalom.
Good morning and welcome. It is good to be here with you today. So we had a thing yesterday. Those of you who missed it, we had the most amazing installation of the Reverend Kristen Kariga as your called associate minister. It was a beautiful day. Tony, would you go to the trencher and light a candle for me? Thank you. In community, we hold together both joy and sorrow, and I do have some sad news to share with you. Our beloved member, Susan Oliver, died yesterday morning. She had been living with some serious illness for quite a while. She did get home with hospice, and the family was able to gather. There was time for them to spend with her. I've been in touch with Nick, and we will schedule her celebration of life, and we will extinguish the chalice for her sometime soon, and we'll let you know when that is. But I wanted you to hear this news today. This morning, we have a special service planned led by our Palestine-Israel justice team, talking about the issue of justice for the Palestinians and how we can learn better to share the bounty of this earth. Our guest speakers are Rabbi Alexis Pearce and Palestinian justice activist Doris Bittar. They are great friends and will be speaking with us. Their full bios are in the insert in your order of service, so I invite you to take a moment and learn more about them. Also in that insert, you'll see on the back 2 QR codes for organizations that if you so choose, you could support. I know sometimes when we talk about these very scary and awful things happening in the world, we want to do something. So sharing from our abundance is one of the things we can do. So those are 2 organizations that we know of and trust to recommend to you. And with that, we will begin our worship service with the lighting of our Unitarian Universalist chalice.
This is a poem by Mahmoud Darwish, and it's called Thinking of Others. As you prepare your breakfast, think of others. Do not forget the pigeon's food. As you conduct your wars, think of others. Do not forget those who seek peace. And as you pay your water bill, think of others. Those who are nursed by clouds. And as you return home, to your home, think of others. Do not forget the people of the camps. As you sleep and count the stars, think of others. Those who have nowhere to sleep. As you liberate yourself, in metaphor, think of others, those who have lost the right to sleep, to speak. And as you think of others far away, think of yourself. Say, if only I were a candle in the dark.
Con espíritu de reverencia reconocemos que nos juntamos en la tierra de los Kumeyaay. Al encender esta vela, reafirmamos nuestro compromiso de cultivar relaciones significativas con los habitantes de esta tierra y de trabajar juntos por la justicia y la equidad.
In a spirit of reverence, we acknowledge that we gather on the land of the Kumeyaay. As we light the candle, we affirm our commitment to cultivate meaningful relationships with the people of this land and to work together for justice and equity. Each week, we acknowledge that we gather on the land of the Kumeyaay people. Let us be mindful that the Palestinians have for generations lived without a homeland and without legal recognition of their civil and even basic human rights. Let us hold the Palestinian people in our hearts and minds, just as we hold the Kumeyaay people, and light this candle to honor and remember them.
Cada semana reconocemos que nos reunimos en la tierra del pueblo Kumeyaay. Seamos conscientes de que los palestinos han vivido durante generaciones sin una patria y sin reconocimiento legal de sus derechos civiles e incluso de sus derechos humanos básicos. Mantengamos al pueblo palestino en nuestros corazones y pensamientos, y así como mantenemos al pueblo Kumeyaay y encendamos esta vela para honrarlos y recordarlos.
I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join me in singing our opening song, Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, 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 alhamdulillah.
Good morning, and welcome to First Unitarian Universalist Church of San Diego, where each Sunday we worship in the South Bay, in Hillcrest, and online. Our mission is to create community, nurture spiritual growth, and to act on our values to help heal the world. I'm Rhea Coleman, and I'm a member, I use the pronouns she and her, and I'm a member of the Palestine-Israel Justice Group, and a longtime member of this church. If you're visiting, I want to extend to you a special welcome. I invite you to fill out the visitor form in your order of service and return it to the welcome table. If you're joining us online, you can also fill out a visitor form at the link on the live stream page or in the YouTube service description. We would love to connect with you. If you've been coming for a while and are starting to feel like this is your spiritual home, consider becoming a member of this beloved community. If you'd like to explore what it means to be a member or have questions about the membership process, you're invited to meet with Jan Garboski, raise your hand, Jan, right here at the front of the meeting house, right after the service. Welcome to this space. Bring all of who you are in all the beauty of languages, cultures, and skin tones that come together in your uniqueness. You are welcome here. In all of the ways you experience and express gender. You are welcome here. In the beauty that is who you love and how you love. You are welcome here. In all the ways you live, move, and experience your embodied self. You are welcome here. With all of the religious and ethical traditions that inform your spiritual life. You are welcome here. Together, may we live our shared values with love at the center.
It is a privilege to be together. I invite you again to rise in body or spirit as we sing our church hymn and recite our church aspiration. Good morning, friends. Oh, and there's some here. I'd like to invite any children or youth who would like to come up and join me for our time for all ages. Oh, great. I was worried I was going to be up here by myself today. There were so many kids here yesterday, I thought, wow, might just be me. So I'm excited. Good morning. Oh, there's a lot happening at 11:30 today. It's all in your insert, so you can take a look at that. There are 4 or 5 things happening today. 6 things happening today at 11:30 that you can choose from. So good morning, friends. Good morning. Our book today is called 11 Words for Love. And I wonder, different languages use... Some languages use the same word to mean different kinds of things. Like when we say, I love my mom and I love pizza, we use the same word, but we mean kind of a different thing, right? It's a different kind of love. I don't love my mom the same way I love pizza. I hope not. Though, I don't know, I like pizza quite a lot. So in other languages, though, they have different words for different kind of love. And in this book, we think about different kind of words, 11 different Arabic words for love. Al-Hab. There are 11 words for love, and my family knows them all. Al-Wud. There's sunshine, warm friendship that grows and glows after 2 people meet. Al-Hawa, and love that comes like a sudden breeze, sweeping you off your feet. Al-Hanan, love marshmallow heart tender, dissolving all tears, love that is gentle and kind. Al-Ishq, and love between 2 souls, souls that are closely entwined. There are 11 words for love, and my family knows them all. Al-Hanin. There's love that aches with cherished memories of loved ones gone too soon. Al-Shakaf. And love that hits you smack bang in the face, the kind that makes you swoon. Al-Wala. There's love that keeps growing, plants joy in your heart. Shock, and love that burns, that yearns to touch homeland, heartland soil one last time. Al-Hab. There are 11 words for love, and my family knows them all. Talaq. There's sacred love binding sisters, 2 hearts that cling tight. Al-Mahaba. And love between longtime neighbors, baked cakes, plant watering, small talk at night. Al-Wala. There's love that is loyal, slobbery kisses and running in the park. Love that is pure, always happy, stamped into your heart. Al-Hab. There are 11 words for love, and I love that my family knows them all. For lovely it is to be loved, to love and be loved, facing the world heart full. And how lovely it is to be loved and to love with courage standing tall. Oh, friends, I hope that whatever word we use for love, that we can work to bring more of it into the world, because I think the world needs a little bit more love right now. Would you agree? Yeah, oh good, I heard a yes, that's great. All right, friends, those of us who are up here, we're going to stand up and lead the congregation in our affirmation. We'll say it first in English and then in Spanish. We are Unitarian Universalists, a people of open minds, loving hearts, and welcoming hands. Somos unitarios, universalistas, personas de mentes abiertas, corazones amorosos, y manos que dan la bienvenida. And now, friends, I invite you to head back and meet your leaders to go to your groups.
A few announcements. Lay ministers are available after the service to offer a listening presence if you have something on your heart that you need to share. This morning, our lay minister is Chris, wearing the yellow scarf. Do we have someone offering a tour today? Marge will be offering a tour. If you'd love to see some of the gems of this beautiful campus, you can meet Marge right up here after the postlude, and she will take you around and share some of the beauty of this campus. Next Saturday, May 2nd, I invite you to join us from 1 to 5 for an all-church half-day retreat. Our primary focus for the day is telling our full story. Right? We learn through stories. This will be fun, I promise, and funny, and community building. So you can click the link in the window to sign up for the gathering. Let us know if you'll be bringing children. We would love to have your children with us, and we will have some activities for them if there are children here. So just let us know. If you come at noon and bring a bag lunch, we'll gather on the patio and break bread together before sharing our stories. I look forward to spending that time with you.
One of the ways we share our values is by sharing our offering with a local organization that works for justice. And in April and May, in addition to the very wonderful Palestinian organizations that we really encourage you to take a look at today, our offering for the months of April and May goes to Grid Alternatives San Diego. Grid Alternatives bridges the solar divide by providing no-cost to very low-cost loans for solar panels and batteries for low-income families. Through this work, they also offer hands-on installation experience for job seekers and community volunteers, because the power of the sun should belong to everyone. You can donate by cash or check in the boxes at the back of the meeting house, or you can text 73256 with text to donate, or scan the QR code on the screen. Thank you so much for your generosity. The offering will now be gratefully received.
A reading by Naomi Shihab Nye, Palestinian poet. Before you know what kindness really is, you must lose things. Feel the future dissolve in a moment like salt in a weakened broth. What you held in your hand, what you counted and carefully saved, all this must go, so you know how desolate the landscape can be between the regions of kindness. How you ride and ride thinking the bus will never stop, the passengers eating maize and chicken will stare out the window forever. Before you learn the tender gravity of kindness, you must travel where the Indian in a white poncho lies dead by the side of the road. You must see how this could be you, how he too was someone who journeyed through the night with plans and the simple breath that kept him alive. Before you know kindness as the deepest thing inside, you must know sorrow as the other deepest thing. You must wake up with sorrow. You must speak to it, till your voice catches the thread of all sorrows as you see the size of the cloth. Then it is only kindness that makes sense anymore, only kindness that ties your shoes and sends you out into the day to mail letters and purchase bread. Only kindness that raises its head from the crowd of the world to say, "It is I you have been looking for," and then goes with you everywhere, like a shadow or a friend.
I invite you to join me in singing Building Bridges. It's number 1023 in the Teal hymnal. The words are also on the screen. Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me with all of our voices and all of our visions? Friends, we could make such sweet harmony, building bridges between our divisions. I reach out for you, will you reach out to me with all of our voices and all of our visions? Friends, we could make such sweet harmony, building bridges between our divisions. I reach out to you, will you reach out to me with all of our voices and all of our visions? Friends, we could make such sweet harmony. Friends, we could make such sweet harmony.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having us.
Good morning. I'm Rabbi Alexis Pearce.
Would you rather just use this one?
It's okay. I might walk around. I don't know. How many of you have heard me speak before? Oh, good. Not everyone. I apologize if some of this is an old story. Right to me? Hello. Good morning. Hello. I want to tell my story of how an American Zionist Jew, ordinary as every other Jew in my congregation, wound up becoming anti-Zionist. I share it today for those who are somewhere on this journey, and because people who call themselves anti-Zionist these days are now being accused of being anti-Semitic. For me, the opposite is true. It's precisely because of what I cherish in Jewish tradition, its deep moral vision, that I no longer support a project that privileges one people's claim to land over another's lives and rights. So I was 12 years old in 1974 when my parents took me on my first trip to Israel. My mother had stars in her eyes. She believed in the miracle of the modern state of Israel, to be a refuge after the Holocaust, a source of pride for a people who had suffered so much. My father had tears in his eyes, thinking of his father, who had been born in a shtetl, whose dearest dream as he prayed 3 times a day was for the Messiah to come and return us all to Zion, not as a political state, but as a spiritual hope tied to a messianic future of peace and justice. To me, Israel was exotic. The old city was ancient and alive, full of color and movement. We visited museums and holy sites. We stayed on a kibbutz. We saw modern, vibrant Tel Aviv with its beaches and cafes. Everywhere we went, we were told, this is your country. If you ever need it, you belong here. For my father, a veteran of World War II, that promise mattered deeply. It meant never again would Jews have nowhere to flee. I grew up immersed in Jewish life. We attended a conservative synagogue. I went to Hebrew school 3 days a week, all the way through high school. I was a part of Jewish and Zionist youth groups. And there we were taught Zionism simply meant the Jews had a right to a homeland, especially after the Holocaust. I learned that Israel had made the desert bloom, that it had connected a land without a people to a people without a land. The Palestinians were largely absent from this story. If they appeared at all, it was as scenery, as enemies, people who hated Israel and wanted to destroy it. I believed Israel was a democracy that provided equal rights to all its citizens. I believed, as I had been taught, that its army acted with moral restraint and purpose. I visited again in 1980 when I was in college. By then there was hope for peace with neighboring countries, and I assumed that process would continue. The Palestinian story still barely touched me. It wasn't until I went to seminary and spent more extended time in Israel that my understanding began to shift. I learned that equality was not a simple reality on the ground. I saw social hierarchies in the Jews themselves, a hierarchy of European, Middle Eastern, and then Ethiopian Jews, and a deeper divide between Jews and Arabs. I saw how religious authority shaped public life in ways that marginalized women and non-Orthodox Jews. At the same time, I had friends who were rabbis and activists working for human rights. Some stood with Palestinian families whose homes, even then, were being demolished or having their olive trees attacked and uprooted. This work moved me. It seemed to embody the ethical core of Judaism as I had been taught it. I held on to the hope that coexistence was possible, that there was enough land, enough dignity, enough humanity for everyone. Then came another experience that moved me. During the first Intifada, I went to Jerusalem to visit the old city, to go to the Western Wall, but now I found it a shuttered ghost town. A lone Arab man smoking along the street spoke to me politely and offered directions and invited me into his shop for a glass of hot mint tea. I accepted. I followed him in, where he closed and locked the door behind me, which rattled me a bit. He told me about his life, his family in Qatar that was depending on the money he couldn't send now because if his shop was found to be open in violation of the Intifada, he would be in big trouble. His story was not about hatred. It was about survival. Around the same time, I witnessed hostility directed at women praying in public at the Western Wall, screaming, throwing chairs, real violence. I saw casual, open hostility and prejudice expressed toward Arabs by Jews. I heard people muttering about the demographic problem, meaning the fear that Palestinians would outnumber Jews and then we'll all be dead. These moments stayed with me. They didn't change my beliefs overnight, but they planted a lot of doubts. Years later, when I was a rabbi here in San Diego, I hosted members of a Jewish-Palestinian dialogue group that included Doris and her dear friend Manal. I think of Manal now because she lost, as I'm aware, 14 members of her family in Gaza during the last few years. Anyway, we hosted them at the congregation. One person left and resigned over that, but many more came up to me so glad they could have a place where their views were welcome from the pulpit. Anyway, through that work, I got involved in a Palestinian Jewish dialogue group myself, along with Doris and her husband, and I began to hear Palestinian stories in depth, stories of displacement, of loss, of fragmentation. I met people whose families had lived in the same place for centuries, yet had been uprooted and told they had no rights. People whose relatives were scattered across multiple countries because they had nowhere else to go. People whose homes had been taken and given to others. Their stories echoed the stories of my grandparents, of persecution, exile, survival. They were exactly like my family. And I found myself asking, how could I claim that my people had a greater right to this land than they did? I also began to hear accounts that challenged what I had believed about the Israeli military, stories of mistreatment, humiliation, and violence that did not align with the image of restraint and purity that I had been taught. So gradually I shifted, and I resisted it because it involved a lot of grief. The place I had held as a symbol of hope and taken for granted as mine no longer felt like that. In recent years, of course, that grief has deepened. The violence of October 7th was horrifying. I think I have to say this. I condemn attacks on civilians without hesitation. At the same time, I can't ignore the broader context, the repeated failure of nonviolent efforts, the ongoing conditions of oppression that shape life for Palestinians and lead some to desperation. The response from Israel that followed, of course, was devastating on a massive scale. The loss of life, the destruction of homes and infrastructure, the displacement of over 90% of the population. It's been overwhelming. And in the West Bank, too, tensions and violence have intensified. The rapid expansion of settlements has only increased. Many Palestinians, all Palestinians in the West Bank and Gaza, live under military law, military rule that severely restricts their freedom and security, and most recently subjects them to the death penalty, which Israel has never had before, except for Eichmann. For me, this all raises a lot of moral questions. Jewish tradition teaches that to pursue justice, to care for the stranger, to recognize the dignity of human beings of all kinds, this is what we're led to do. We're cautioned against placing ultimate faith in power. We're called to humility and accountability. So when any nation, especially one created in response to historical trauma, acts in ways that harm and traumatize another people so deeply, we have to ask hard questions about what it stands for and what it has become. So for me, supporting Zionism as a political project no longer aligns with those values. That does not mean rejecting Jewish identity or history or practice. It does not mean denying the deep connection we feel with the land. It does not mean ignoring the real fears and vulnerabilities that Jews continue to experience as the number of anti-Semitic incidents is on the rise. It does mean recognizing that safety built on the dispossession and suffering of another people is not sustainable or just. It also means holding on to hope, even when it feels distant. I know that many people in Israel and Palestine are working, often quietly and at great risk, for a different future, one rooted in equality, dignity, and shared humanity. Their voices are not the loudest, but they exist. The dreams my parents carried, the dream of safety and peace and belonging, is still a beautiful dream. But I no longer believe it can be realized through domination or exclusion. Instead, I hold a vision of a world in which all people, Jewish, Palestinians, and beyond, can live in security and freedom with their rights fully recognized. In Jewish prayer, the hope for Zion was always intertwined with a hope for justice and peace, not just for Jews, but for everyone. That is the hope I still carry. It's just that I no longer call it Zionism.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having us. I've known Alexis for quite a long time, and I've learned so much from her. I don't have prepared remarks, but my head is full, as always, so it may not be as linear.
I only wrote it out to keep it short.
Right. Well, I will be short because we're ending in about 6 minutes, apparently. But anyway, I just want to say that, to parallel a little bit my journey, similar to Alexis, is we grow up with certain belief systems within our families and within our extended families and friends. And mine was certainly challenged. I thought I was Lebanese. In fact, I thought I was Lebanese and French. This was my delusion. And then when I was 28 years old, I found out my father was Palestinian and had been hidden. Christian family, Melkites, which were the first organized Christian religion. And, it kind of shocked me. I was already working for Palestinian rights, so I thought, okay, some DNA just knew in me. And I would say my family was quite Zionist. This is inevitable, this is coming, and they were very, very Islamic phobic, let's say. And that never changed with them, except my dad. He was kind of quiet. He was just kind of an observer. And so it took me a long time to figure it out, and only a few years ago, after my parents both passed, I came upon documents that were my father's. My mom had told me, she was the big fabricator in the family, sorry, Mom, but that my dad had an Egyptian passport where he was born in Alexandria. His father was from Jaffa, Palestine, and that he had a Lebanese passport, and then we immigrated in 1965, and he had all his papers, and we all became citizens 5-6 years later, American citizens. Well, I couldn't find any of that in his papers. I found his American passport. That was really it, and a paper saying he'd become American. They both had. But I couldn't find anything else. But what I did find was passez-laissez cards. And that kind of brands you as a Palestinian. These are easy pass cards if you don't have a passport. And really only Palestinians have them in the Arab world. And it really got to me because it explained a lot about his personality. He was light on his feet, he didn't have possessions, his chess game and his shaver, and that's what my brothers fought over after he died. He had nothing. And it was this kind of ready to leave at a moment's notice. Anyway, what I want to talk about also is where the Arab community is right now. We are very angry, but we understand anger isn't the only thing that we have to deal with. We have to figure out how love can be brought into that. Yesterday at an educational conference, I showed a picture of the Arab world at night. And during the day, it is night for us because we're thinking of it's nighttime now over there. And at night, it's daytime for them, and all we think about is their safety. I have 6 friends from Gaza. One of them is in Anaheim, the other 5 are in San Diego. Between them, 700 direct family deaths. And not a single story in the paper about it. So, what do we do with that anger? Anger is motivating because it's acknowledging how you feel. But it can't stay there. It can't stay there. And somehow, the love of the other, my friend Alexis here, and so much I've learned about the history of Judaism and Christianity from her. And it is about loving the least of us. It's about loving the other. That helps you figure it out. Willpower doesn't work. Just somehow driving yourself. You have to find a gentle way to get to, figuring out solutions. Right now in San Diego, we're working on education, and it's quite a battle. But that's what we're doing. I'm an artist, and I've been really interested in futurism. I'm making a film about Gazans going to Mars in 2037, a joint NASA-Palestine project. And it's a documentary, not that part of it, but I'm talking to astronauts. But the past tells us something about what the future could be. And what I'm finding, the more I look at future and futurism and Afrofuturism and all the futurisms out there to figure out where Arab futurism lies, I'm finding myself immersed in the past. And the past is something that for hundreds of years happened in the Arab world. It happened there first, due to the influence and structure of Islam. And I'm not a Muslim, as I told you, but it was just a smart solution for society. Be diverse. Every Arab city on a river. We don't, rubble and deserts are not our natural habitat. We like shade, we like water. Every major Arab city from ancient times has been divided into quadrants. There's always a Jewish quarter, an Armenian quarter, an Orthodox Christian quarter, and a Muslim quarter, even though the majority was Muslim around it. And that's really important to understand. It was a formula for success, very close to a business district. Sometimes the business where they all met was intersection of all those spaces. And my father used to say, he was a businessman in the travel industry, when I had a deal and it wasn't family that was in on it with me, it was a Jew and a Muslim, I knew it was going to work. It was definitely going to work. Our kindness is real. It isn't a phony thing. And for years I struggled, just me as a person, with the issue of, is my kindness real, or is it just been hardwired into me? And I'm finding out where that kindness came from. Our rhythm comes from the Roma. Our intricate, delicate mosaic comes from Byzantium. Our kindness comes from Mother Africa. And I've been told from travelers who went through Africa that as they came north, people got less and less nice. So I think it is hardwired in us. And I thank all those sources. Our patterns come from China. This was an inclusive culture. It is an inclusive culture for real. And people who don't understand it have to begin to understand that when we say we are kind, we are diverse by design. It's in our DNA. Figure out how you can understand that. And that can be a way forward, constructive way forward.
I invite you to join me in singing Hold Fast to Love. The lyrics will be on the screen. fast to love, for it's not broken. Hold fast to love, it will endure. Hold fast to love, hold your heart open for all this hurt. Love is the cure. Hold fast to love, it's staying right here, despite the ones who've lost their way. Hold fast to love, it shows the way clear, so we can face another day. Hold fast to love, it's in our voices. Hold fast to love, it's in our hands. Love rises up to guide our choices. There is no storm love can't withstand. Hold fast to love, for it's not broken. Hold fast to love, it will endure. Hold fast to love, hold your heart open for all this hurt. Love is the cure. For all this hurt, love is the cure.
Hello, everyone. Planning this service was very intensive in time, but my heart is so full right now. I'm so grateful to Rabbi Alexis and to Doris and to Tony and Reverend Justine for all the beautiful components of this service. Just a few words. Unitarian Universalists have always stood against anti-Semitism. So, when the 2024 General Assembly decided to create a statement of solidarity with Palestinians, they began by reaffirming their support for Jewish people and against anti-Semitism. The statement then went on to say, and now I'm quoting, "Our support for Jewish well-being was never meant to undermine the rights and lands of Palestinian people. We seek a world where our Palestinian Jewish kin are safe. We believe that until Palestinians are free, none of us is free. And amidst global efforts to tamp down on speaking up for the lives of Palestinians, we must find our courage to live and speak our beliefs into the broken, breaking world. And we know how many people are being attacked and penalized for simply speaking up for justice for Palestinians. We're called by our faith to learn to organize and to advocate for the human rights of both Palestinians and Israelis. The Palestinian-Israel Justice Team, with the support of our ministers and the Social Justice Executive Team, has initiated a process of discernment regarding the situation of Palestinians. Today's service is part of this process. We've held panel discussions, screened and discussed pertinent films, and will soon be collaborating with the Racialized Identity Group on a reading about the deep meaning of the destruction and genocide in Gaza. And today we're holding a learning session at 11:30 in the common room. One of our two speakers, Palestinian-American Amar Kadan, is the acting president of the Arab American Anti-Discrimination Committee in San Diego. He'll share a poem and describe his family's forced displacement from Palestine. The other speaker is SDSU Professor Jonathan Graubart, and he will explain the role of American Jewish institutions have played in perpetuating the suffering of Palestinians. These events are intended to move us as a congregation to decide if we want to join faith congregations across the world in affirming the apartheid-free pledge that was created by the American Friends Service Committee, the Quakers. The pledge is aimed at exposing and ending the apartheid regime that Palestinians live under. Almost 1,200 congregations have so far taken the pledge, including UU churches in California and elsewhere, and our neighbor, the United Methodist Church of North Park. Now, you may believe the word apartheid is not justified with regard to Israel. If so, we need your voice and strongly encourage your participation in our discernment process. We need to hear and respectfully engage with the full diversity of opinion that exists in our church in order to reach a safe discernment place where we can make a decision together. So please join us at 11:30 today and at future events. And stop by the social justice table after service, where we'll usually have someone from our team who will be glad to speak with you, answer questions, or discuss things with you. So we're eager to engage with you. Thank you so much.
I invite you to rise in body or spirit for our closing song, May Peace Reign Over Us. This is one of the new songs from our virtual hymnal, so we'll ooh through the melody the first time, and then we'll sing the lyrics twice.
And as we extinguish our chalice, here are some closing words to carry with us as our week unfolds to remind us of what we hold dear. First, the words from our group's mission. Our vision is a just peace in Palestine-Israel that reflects our UU values of respect for the inherent worth and dignity of every human being. In the words of James Baldwin, we remember. Can you finish this?
We remember the children are always ours, every single one of them, all over the globe.